What happened with Nick Walker and Mike Sommerfeld? I want details. Tim Wilkins, lead us on.
Well, I think some of that was the details that were missing. In Nick's physique, he looked amazing on Saturday night. He was starting to dial it back in, and everybody went, whoa, Natalia Coelho.
You know, I talked to Bill Sibilia, and she nailed it. That was the best Natalia Coelho we've ever seen.
Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, joined as always by Tarek Elgindi.
Great to be here. Incredible, Mr. Olympia. We gotta talk about some of the categories that really brought me to my knees.
Chris Cormier, what brought you to your knees?
Nothing, because I'm tough.
Well, it is a pleasure to see. Did you see fitness?
I did see fitness. And Wakanda was victorious.
Michelle Verdua-Mensah.
Wakanda forever.
Michelle Mensah from the UK. I'm
Wakanda.
actually pretty concerned about all these UK people winning. We had Rhea Gale, we had Ryan Terry, we had Michelle Verdua. Could you imagine if Samson had won? I would have called the government. They're trying to recolonize us. Michelle Verdua has won the Atlanta show. She's a phenom. She turned pro. She stormed the stage, won her first pro show. She rose so fast. You know, when you look at her structure in the two-piece, she's the freaking genetic freak of the category. She could use a little bit more muscle mass, but people had her or Allison Kramer winning the two-piece.
Yeah.
And it was very close. I actually had Allison Kramer winning the two-piece and Michelle second. But what people need to understand is that the fitness category is 2/3 judging goes to the routines. In the routine, Michelle is incredible, amazing. She fights against Taylor Learmont. I had Taylor Learmont in first in the routine, and it had Michelle Verdua in second. But people need to understand, it's the average, right? You get second in the two-piece, second in the performance, you turn out to be the best, the most complete competitor.
Overall.
And she is that. She's young, she's hungry. We could have one of those Whitney Jones, Missy Truscott runs with Michelle Verdua.
I always liked the physique she had. I mean, I was happy with her physique. I mean, she has nice round delts, very explosive, very athletic in her routines. Great girl. I mean, she has always been one of my favorite. I love the old routine of the Wakanda routine. I love that I was really happy for her to win it. Coming up from England and coming to America, you know, going all over the world, she's competed in multiple competitions, Arnold Classics and everything like this, but she always comes with a great routine and very explosive. I love it.
I was emceeing for Linda Murray in the Atlanta Pro where she won and qualified for this show. Let's talk about Bob pulls everybody, the first and second place potential winners out for that moment together. Jacqueline Baker has been in that number 2 spot and wanted it really bad.
The East Coast queen.
She was outsized by Allison and Michelle, but her routine was spectacular to put her in that final moment, waiting to find out.
Yeah, you know, Jacqueline Baker is an amazing competitor. You know, she's been second. She's been the most consistent fitness competitor in the last 5 years.
So graceful.
We love her. We love her. Everybody would love to see Jacqueline Baker win the Olympia. But the Olympia is a tough place to be. You know, there's no feelings, there's no sentiment. It is what it is. You know, like Bruce Tabani. You know, we have all this thing. He couldn't get his dissect, couldn't get there. In the end of the day, you're comparing a back-double biceps. Nothing that happened in the past matters at that point. I love her. I hope she comes back. But Michelle Verdua was the best competitor in the two-piece. I think she beat Jacqueline. and in the performance, I think she beat Jacqueline. Jacqueline needs to come back and cement herself
What does she
as
need
the
to
best
do?
one. What's that?
What does Jacqueline need to do?
I think Jacqueline a few years ago did a routine that was a little bit more romantic.
Right.
It had slower tones to
Graceful.
it. And that got me attention. It just said, that's beautiful. I think if Jacqueline had done that, she would have placed ahead of Michelle Verdua in the posing.
I think what she's up against too, she's in her 40s, is physique and packing on enough mass. You know, with Missy gone and with Mina Paciulati gone, I thought it would be a downsized, but then you get the girls that come out like Amber Steffen and Taylor Learmont, who have spectacular routines. I got to stop at Taylor, who blew our minds 3 years ago when she debuted.
Taylor.
And she went out and said, all right, I'm going to pack on some weight. I think she missed her peak by just a little bit. She did pack on some quality size. But then she comes out in one of the best uses of a prop I've seen, a simple chair, and turned it into one of the most graceful, beautiful, strength-oriented routines we've seen in probably 10 years.
But she's one of the most dynamic competitors, especially with the routine. I got to know her a little bit. We did a little training when I was in Canada, and just to see some of her Instagram posts that she makes, I mean, she has so many fans, so many people adore her. Some of the acrobats that she brings. She's been doing this.
Are you saying you helped her with doing all that acrobat?
He showed her
Well,
a lot of
I did
routine.
that.
Let's not be ridiculous,
plank-
okay?
I can plank
Make
for
that
it.
clear. Look at the camera. Does he have a camera? He doesn't.
Bro.
He doesn't. So look at the center camera right there.
I
Since
got
you
a
don't have
camera. My light don't work,
And
though.
just clarify, you
My
did not
camera's
help
right there.
Taylor Learmont with her routine. You helped her with her
that's his
physique.
camera. That's
you
my
know?
camera's right there. Don't be pointing at that camera. don't be pointing at that camera, bro. That's mine's right there with homegirl.
So back to the routines. So the other favorite of mine for the night that just, I loved it. The energy coming off of Amber Steffen when she came off stage, pumping her fist, and then she comes backstage and blasts a couple expletives that shock some people. And she was so happy that she nailed her routine. It made me so happy.
And she wasn't on the first call out in the two-piece. The judges did not think her physique was good to be on the first call out. She didn't give up. She said, you know what? I got knocked down, even though she brought great conditioning, but I'm going to explode in my routine. And that is exactly what she did.
And Allison Kramer, big shout out to her. Always a great physique, always a great routine. Guys, before we wrap this first segment.
We got women's physique, and we got wheelchair.
We got wheelchair, so we'll cover physique in just a second. Wheelchair, I got to shout out. Nick Scott runs the wheelchair, travels around all over the world when he's not one of the top wheelchair ballroom dancers in the world, trying to recruit new guys. We had Harold Kelly with his dominance for years. Last year was Carol Maluski. This year, some of the best conditioning, I think, in a very, very long time for wheelchair with James Barger.
Yeah, he
James
was
Berger.
conditioned. When he
Amazing.
hit that front double biceps, I said it's game over. The young man is conditioned. And, you know, a lot of people ask, how do the wheelchair guys, do cardio? They do it with their upper body, you know what I mean? They
Ropes.
work out and everything. And to get in that level of conditioning, I got to give him credit. James Berger, wheelchair champion. Women's physique, oh my goodness.
Man.
Oh my goodness. Natalia Coelho overtakes Sarah Viegas. The tension was real. But this was Natalia's best.
We're going to
was
talk
the
about this when
best.
we come back. We're going to take a break. We're going to cover women's physique because it was a battle to the end. We're going to do that when we come back right after this.
Being an athlete means having the guts to transform yourself, pushing beyond limits and overcoming yourself again and again and again, embodying dedication in a routine built on sacrifices, inspiring the world to believe that the top is reachable. Athlete, always ready, always evolving. Integro Medica, presenting sponsor of Olympia.
We are back, and I want to go straight to the topic. What happened with Nick Walker and Mike Sommerfeld? I want details. Tim Wilkins, lead us on.
Well, I think some of that was the details that were missing. In Nick's physique, he looked amazing on Saturday night. He was starting to dial it back in. But Friday night, I think he missed his peak by just a little bit and didn't have the details that make Nick's physique pop the way it pops, that blows everybody's mind.
Tarek, what type of mindset is the judge thinking when they saw Nick Walker walk out and display his physique?
As soon as I saw Nick Walker walking towards the box, I noticed, man, the upper body is humongous. He has the biggest upper body in bodybuilding. And I'll say this, bigger than Derek, bigger than Goodavito, bigger than Exzilla. There's not a guy that has more muscle on that upper body than Nick Walker. So I thought, man, as he came in, blue trunks, he looked huge. I said he can fight for the Olympia title. But then when he started posing in the box, I said, this is not as good as Pittsburgh. His conditioning is not as good as Pittsburgh, and the waist is not as tight. Nick Walker, if he's not 100%, we can start seeing some of the flaws, the structural flaws. And we could see the midsection. The midsection was prominent. The legs, they don't get as big because now the waist is a little bit wide. Everything changes for Nick Walker if he's not 100%. He needs to pick a show, maybe in the beginning of the year, win that show, earn his early qualification, take some time, and just focus on the Olympia. I think this year was a great year for him. 3 shows, 1 win, 1 head-to-head against Derek. But, man, it was stressful. The whole world was like, you better show up at the Olympia or nobody will believe in you anymore.
That's a lot of pressure, Chris.
Yes, and I think when you do compete, sometimes the body just don't answer the bell for you when it comes to your digestion, the fullness, the hardness. I mean, you're at your lowest point of body fat, lowest point of water in your body. Everything has to match, and everything has to chemistry lock in for you to display your physique like you did in Pittsburgh. So, the Olympia, it just wasn't his day that day, but a lot of bodybuilders have that happen in their careers. He did reeled it back in and got, it seemed like the waist got a little tighter, the chest got a little fuller, and he was a little drier.
I'm going to go in a little crazier place before we transition to Mike Sommerfeld. We definitely have a household of prayer, and with Nick's last few weeks of check-in pictures, and the things he's gone through in the last couple of years, I was praying that he made it safely to stage, and I think this year was a win for Nick. It wasn't in his mind, and it wasn't for Nick's fans, but him getting on stage at the Olympia was a win.
I'm proud of him. I love his mom, Tracy. She's a great supporter. I love the dad. Let's keep our head up. This was a fantastic year. He's the most popular bodybuilder. People love him. He had great results. Let's just come back next year. Let's keep doing the work.
Tighten it up. All right, Sommerfeld. Now, I have an issue, and Chris and I were talking about this to ask you, is part of Mike's issue the fact that he looks like a bodybuilder and not like a classic physique?
Well, it's funny. I think last year, I'm not quite sure, but he came in heavier, right? Last year. And he looked really good, impressive. And then this year, he had to drop some weight. He had to go in as 204 pounds. And everybody said, well, now he's done. He's going to place 8th, 9th. Well, he placed exactly where he did last year. He's still a fantastic competitor. That back double biceps was very reminiscent of what he did last year. He had all the qualities of conditioning was there. Everything was there. You could see that last year there was a little bit more of flaring quads.
Yes.
Right? There was a little bit more size on top. This year, I think he looked a little bit more streamlined, but in some poses, I actually prefer him this year than last year. He's second place on both of them. Sometimes heavier is not better, right?
Right.
So I loved what he brought. Everybody that said, well, you know, he's not going to look as good, he shut them up. The stress, man. I saw him at check-ins. He had his head down. You know, the way the check-ins is coming, the whole world, Palumbo is right there. You know, are you going to put this underneath your feet? I don't want to talk about this bullshit. I mean, fuck. Could you imagine the guy's mind?
Yeah.
I told him, you handle yourself so well. If it was me, I would have swung at 3 dudes.
Yeah, but you know, the mustache. Yeah.
We will get them. Don't worry. My hair is not all of me. I have biceps and giant legs.
Yeah, and you know, it did make his upper body a little bit more streamlined, and I'm with Tarek on this. It did make him look a little bit more classic, you know. But you know, Mike, he didn't actually measure himself. I don't think he was cheating or tried to cheat or whatever it is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I think he just stretched his neck out a little bit more previously and got a different height, weight. But you know, all in all, he did a big crash of 14 pounds the last week or so, which is very hard to do. I don't know how he did that, but that just shows the tenacity and the fortitude that he put forth. You know, getting ready for this competition and going against the likes of Terrence and
Dino and Josema.
Man, all these guys, to hold all these guys off with that big weight drop is a testament to him.
Well, Tarek, we're talking about, you know, as the troll fans in the internet take their little victory lap, you're talking about a quarter of an inch between one weight cap and the next. On any given Sunday, you do a couple extra reps of squats, and your discs compact, and you got the shorter discs. Everything happens. You got guys constantly the other day on the ground with people pulling their legs and their arms to try to get everything to unleash so they can go back in and remeasure before weighing in.
Yes, I'd be hanging upside down.
They're growing their hair. You know, they're letting a layer of crust grow on their feet. I mean, all bets are off, Chris. These guys are going to come in with a crust. You know that crust, that nasty crust?
No.
The homeless guy in Gaslamp has that crust on his seat.
I don't think I'll be eating breakfast
He's
this
10
morning.
inches taller. They're going to come back with a crust this tall.
Looking like an English
The
muffin.
hair, we've been getting calls from wigs. People want to sell wigs at the check-ins.
A lot of turkey.
You know what I mean?
Turkish.
They're lifting people upside down like the predator in that butcher house. Man,
I saw a guy laying in the hall.
Yeah,
with a little sauna, built-in sauna, like a little sleeping bag.
Yeah, I thought he was in his garment bag, but it was a sauna bag.
Yeah, a little sauna bag.
So we got before we run out of time here, fellas. You broke my chops in a previous episode. We have to talk about the division that my child is in. Women's physique.
woo!
So
They were
were you judging prejudge?
Yes.
And she came out, and everybody went, "Whoa, Natalia Coelho."
You know, I talked to Bill Sibilia, and she nailed it. That was the best Natalia Coelho we've ever seen. Everything was perfect. Legs, the back, everything. And then I said, okay, hold on. We have not seen the 4-time Olympia women's physique champion. Sarah came in, and I didn't think she was at her best. When the comparisons happened, it was dominant. I think Natalia beat Sarah in every single pose. And I think going into the finals, Sarah Villegas was feeling, this is not mine. Natalia. Here's the thing about this rivalry. Sarah Villegas and Natalia have a fierce rivalry, and they they really dislike each other. I don't care what anybody says. I know it. But Sarah was focused on Juliana Malacarne's record. She's like, you know what? I don't even think about Natalia anymore. I'm looking at Juliana, beating Juliana's record. I want to be the greatest women's physique competitor. And Natalia Coelho said, not under my watch, honey.
Girl.
Girl, you're not going anywhere. Forget about Juliana Malacarni. You're going to be looking at me getting first place. This is going to get nasty.
Yeah, and she brought every fiber. I mean, dug out around the hip flexor, all around the glute, all the way down to the tie-ins. The posing was, lights out posing. I could not believe some of the movements she was making and the gracefulness and all the musculars interchanging and locking and contracting. And that was such a beautiful display of physique. That was the best I ever seen of her. What do you got to say for the former champion losing the title? What does she need to do, in your eyes as a judge, to get that title back or to somehow level the playing field?
You know she's a fierce competitor. She got back on that jet, flew back to Texas. What's she going to do first thing today?
First of all, I know Sarah very well. She hates losing. She is freaking angry right now. She has a great coach. It's her husband, Ali. He's a friend of mine, and he's going to structure a comeback. Okay, her best physique ever came the year she lost to Natalia Coelho. He's very cerebral. He's going to look at it and say, it could have been a little tighter. I think the tanning can be a little bit darker. We can improve some of the posing. I think Sarah Villegas is freaking poised to come back and win. She is pissed. I know it. She's the 4-time champion. You better be ready for her.
So we were missing a couple of people. We were missing Brooke Walker this year. Ivy Rain retired.
Brooke Walker, man.
So third place. Oh, yes, your girl.
It was Zama Benta from Brazil. Great competitor. She's got legs for days. She needs a little bit more back.
So what an amazing Olympia. Excitement in every category. Some old champions, some new champions. Guys, wow.
Such an amazing event. Jake Wood, you did it again, buddy.
Dan Solomon, the entire team, Caden Riley, everybody behind the scenes that made this event happen.
Angelica does her thing. We're going to appreciate everything.
Sophia, Talim Bustani, great job.
Don't forget about Nico, our producer.
Nico, we love our Nico.
Where is he? Is he out in the audience?
Yeah.
Stand up, Nico. He is standing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Bob's Chicken, a horrible joke.
Yeah, right.
And of course, this show, we love Global Formulas. Thank you, Jacob Frank and your team, and your amazing supplements that you bring to the best athletes, the most elite athletes, those perfectly formulated creatine. Super Freak OMG.
Protein zero, vanilla.
Yes.
Drink that.
Zero sugar, zero fat.
Dry scoop.
That dry scoop thing got 400,000 hits.
I'll do it every day.
You will do it.
I do it every day. I do it every day. Few people
all day long.
Few people have the guts and testicles like I do.
So, Tara Kilgindi, the guts and testicles behind the man, Chris Cormier.
That's what's up, man.
Oh, Tim Wilkins, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.